This video is sponsored by Squarespace. This is crazy. Just as I was sitting there preparing my gear, the little dipper came less than 15 meters from my little tent. Wow, there it is. I have to put this. This is not perfect, but it's better than nothing. I'm going to record some video. The dipper is not in Denmark during the year. It comes probably from Norway and Sweden, where it lives in streams, and they live in the little Danish streams during the Danish winter. Some places the dippers are extremely shy and you can't even get closer than 50 meters or so, but here they are used to people walking around on the small trails. That means that I can get really close to the little beautiful bird. He's not shy, that little dipper. Not at all. So I've been walking around and photographed the Little Dipper in different locations, but it's so difficult. Apparently the little bird has a territory of about maybe 200 or 300 meters of stream, and within that territory it has 15, 20, 30 different spots where it likes to sit. It can be a branch or stone. And every time I sneak in and get in position and I'm almost about to get a really good composition and a good background, I get a few photos and then he takes off to another spot. And it's not that he always goes to the next. Sometimes he goes like 200 meters and he sits there, and then I go there and get in position, try to sneak, and then off he goes. So it's really, really difficult. So my idea about taking my dry suit, get into the water and photograph him, it doesn't work. At least not until I know if the little fellow has one or two like favorite spots where he always sits. Then I can get down, wait just above the water level and photograph him. But for now I'm not going to do that. That'll probably be a waste of time. Rather, I would walk along the stream as I've done until now, and eventually when he shows up I can photograph him. So now it's getting dark. It's about, I think, 1 hour more. So I'll walk along the stream back to the camp, and then it's time for something to eat and some coffee. So yeah, time to go. It has been so nice to spend the day out in the forest with a little dipper. And now I'm going to talk about this fellow here, the homemade sled. I'm going to give you a good tip on how you can turn your ball head into a gimbal. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about why I have been photographing with the Canon R5 and R6 today. And yeah, let's get started. Before we move on, I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace lets you build professional looking websites without any knowledge about coding and web design. You simply choose one of the many great looking templates, and by dragging and dropping photos and changing the text and colors, you can make it your own. You can create beautiful galleries to showcase your work, and it's very easy to update the gallery with your latest photos. It also has built-in e-commerce, so you can start selling your prints, calendars and digital products. So if you need a new website, head over to squarespace.com to start your 14 days free trial. And you can use the off code Morten Hilmer to get 10% off your first purchase. I've put a link in the description. Let's get to it. First of all, I just want to talk a little more about this sled. It's a homemade one. I made it with a friend once. We made like 50 of them and sold them to friends and people who are interested. I'm not making them anymore. I'm not going to. Just want to show you so as an inspiration, so you could maybe build one yourself. It's basically just steel. I don't know what you call them. Round steel things that has been welded, I think it's called, together and bended. And the whole purpose of this sled is it was built to photograph shorebirds. You know, when you're in the sand, it's almost impossible to drag a tripod. There's too many movements. So rather than moving a tripod, it's easier to lie down behind the sled, moving it, like pushing it back and front with your one arm and photograph with the other. And then you can put like a water pipe here with some camouflage. I'm going to show you that next time I'm using the sled. That was just a little inspiration. Second, I've made a video about how you can turn your ball head into a gimbal, but I think good stuff and money-saving stuff cannot be mentioned too often. So let me just show you what I mean about that. It is nice to have a gimbal head like this because it lets you balance your equipment and it keeps it all centered. The problem is that it's really not that nice for landscape photography or to photograph with lenses that doesn't have this ring. I don't know what you call it, but this ring. So when I bring my gimbal head, I also always bring a little ball head. Björn, come here, come here. Björn is always making troubles when I'm trying to explain things, so he wants to have attention. No, so with the ball head, you can basically, you have a good thing for landscapes and for video and stuff, but you can also turn it into a gimbal that I think works surprisingly good. The way you do that is basically you take your lens and then you put it here like this. And first let me show you why a ball head is not a good thing for a big telephoto lens. The problem is that as long as you're photographing like this and you have it balanced, it's pretty good. The problem comes when you want to make a vertical shot or you just leave it and it can fall down. Every time you leave it, you need to tighten it. So when you're photographing here and you want to make a vertical shot and you loosen the knot here, and then you do like so, it can easily fall like that. And then you are out of control and there are a lot of movement that can scare the animals away and it's impossible for you to control. So what you can simply do here is on the most ball heads you have this cutout down here, and then you can basically let the ball head fall down here and let it rest. You loosen the pan knob, the resist knob here, and then this one. Now you have something that is very similar to a gimbal. you can move up and down and around, and you can. And the good thing is that the lens will stay where you leave it. Just a few things to be aware of. The ball head has to be of a good quality. It needs a big ball. Otherwise, if you have a very small little ball here, it's simply not strong enough to hold a lens like this. Second, you need to be aware that it's off center. That means that the weight is out here, so you have to pay attention to the tripod so it will not flip over. So yeah, I think that's a good tip, because it can save you a lot of money, it can save you a lot of weight, and it can save you a lot of volume in your photo bag. And yeah, it's just really good. And now for the Canon equipment. The reason why I'm using this is basically because I was in the photo blind with Simon, and he was praising the autofocus system, and I could hear from his side of the blind like, oh, it's amazing with the eye autofocus, it keeps tracking the bird. And I was like sitting with my Z6 Nikon trying to move the little focus square around, and I got a little curious. So I asked him if I could try, and I sat there about half an hour with the equipment and played with the buttons, and yeah, and then I thought that is pretty nice. I rarely get really excited about technique, because after all I always think, okay, will that new feature, will that give me better photos? Will it give me photos that I would otherwise not have gotten? After playing with this autofocus today with the deeper, I can say yes, it will. This is the first time I'm really excited about an autofocus system. I had this where I could control the focus point with my thumb on the back of the screen while looking in the viewfinder, and then I could use either like a single point autofocus or the eye tracking, and that is just like phenomenal fast, because normally I have to move with the joystick the little focus point from one side to the other depending on which way the bird is looking into the photo, and it often takes a lot of time, and I have to make small adjustments with a little joystick. Now I could basically just swipe my finger around, and that was really fast. Second, that animal eye autofocus, I just didn't think it would work, but it did work. It was of course not an error situation with a bird with a black head and black eye. Of course it failed sometimes, but it almost always got the bird. And yeah, I'm really surprised. The reason why I'm photographing with this equipment was because I got so curious after borrowing Simon's equipment. So I called Canon and asked if I could try some equipment for a few weeks, and I was glad that they sent me the Canon EOS R5 with a 200 to 400 millimeter and some of these converter or adapter things, and then I wanted to try for vlogging the R6, and I used to vlog with a Nikon, but it doesn't have a flip out screen, so I thought that was really smart with that thing. Yeah, so that's basically it. It's just me trying some new tools that might be better than what I already have, and I don't want this to be a video about some clickbaity thing. Am I switching to Canon or am I switching to something else? Because it doesn't really matter what gear I use. I just know that there will be so many comments and questions if I don't just tell a little about it. So yes, I have the equipment for another few weeks, and now I'm still very new and I'm not very good at using it, but I think I have learned pretty fast with this equipment. It fits good for my fingers, and it has been amazing to use, and so you can expect to see it in the next few videos as well. So yeah, I hope that was answer enough, and of course there will be comments, are you switching to Canon? Yeah, time will show. I don't know, and I don't think it really matters. It's more about the pictures that come out. But yeah, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'm looking so much forward to sharing many more videos and experiences with you. So yeah, take care and see you out there. Ligger du og sover? Ja, ligger du og sover, Bjørn?